Okay, there we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Lal, and we are going to proceed with our misdemeanor first appearance cases. These are cases in which individuals were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Soon after being booked in, their cases have been formally accused by the Solicitor General of Fulton County. When I address your case, please remember that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. All right, Ms. Strong, good afternoon. What's our reset date, please?
Good afternoon, Judge. It's July the 10th.
July 10th. Thank you. Okay, position number 2, Tyrell Briscoe has been released. Okay, so courtroom 2, who are we addressing presently?
Position number 16, Mr. Whiter.
This is Tedrick Whiters, accused of criminal trespass and giving false information to an officer. Mr. Whiters, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is going to be Miss Patton. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, 32. He's on probation out of Fulton for robbery. 24 SC 003-582. 2024 ag assault conviction. 2024 trespass convictions. 2023 trespass. 2021 ag assault conviction. Want me to keep going?
No, we're good. Thank you. Any FTAs? I didn't see any on the list.
Yeah, I didn't see any up to 2014. I didn't recall.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, fucking hell. I ain't bitch.
All righty. Mr. Rhodes, good afternoon. I'm sorry, sir, you're on mute.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Yes, on the facts are as alleged to be. Said on June 27, 2025, Officer Poor was dispatched to 1051 Villa Court for suspected individual trespassing on the property. Upon arriving on the scene, officer spoke with Miss Allison Simmons. She informed the officers that Mr. Whiters was residing in Unit C5 of the apartment, despite being given a warning the day prior. On the day prior, he had a physical altercation with the true resident of Unit C5, who was rushed to the hospital and not yet discharged. So at that point, Mr. Whiters had taken over that particular unit. Officers confirmed the criminal trespass warning from the prior day and the actual location, the same location, and detained Mr. Whiters for criminal charge of criminal trespass. And inside of Mr. Whiters' jeans, they were able to locate 2.15 grams of marijuana. And after that, he was in fact arrested. Given his criminal history, Your Honor, we're asking for a total of a $3,000 bond, $2,000 on the criminal trespass. Given the conduct the day before, where the actual owner of that unit was actually sent to the hospital as a result of an altercation with this particular defendant, and a $1,000 on the possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and that he stay away from 1051 Villa Court Southeast in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, Your Honor.
Did we NOD the marijuana charge? I have not on docket on the jailing screen.
Ms. Harrison may very well have NOD'd that. Thank you for that correction. So then we're asking for a $2,000 bond, Your Honor.
Sounds good. Miss Patton?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We're going to be requesting a signature bond through pretrial services. He currently has a job with J&C Crew Management. He's been there about 9 months. He has 3 kids. They're all minors, 13, 7, and 4. He doesn't have the funds to make a bond at this time, considering his circumstances. He is a native to Atlanta. He went to Grady High School. So we're just going to be asking that he be released on a signature bond, maybe level 3, Your Honor.
All right. In 2023, he spent 3 days on a criminal trespass charge. He came back in 2023 and spent 103 days on a possession of cocaine charge that was later not lost. Then in 2024, he came back to jail, this jail, I'm just talking about Fulton County Jail, and spent, this was in 2024, he spent 3 days, additional 3 days for criminal trespass. And then in 2024, again, he came back, let me see, he was released on March 23rd. He came back on April 9th, 2024, on another criminal trespass charge, and he spent 1 year with us. And then he was released on April 8th, 2025, and now he's back in jail on June 27th, 2025. He doesn't qualify for a signature bond, Ms. Patton, with all due respect. Courtroom 2, on his bond, the criminal trespass is going to be 1,000. Giving false information is going to be 500. This is going to be a $1,500 surety bond. To stay away from the incident location, he needs to stay completely away from the entire complex, including Unit C5. Have no contact with the staff at that apartment complex. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And his next court date is going to be July 10th. Mr. White,
These apartments.
Mr. White, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say, your statements can and will be used against you. Well, I was going to give you an opportunity to speak, but if you walk away, I guess you understood your rights. Okay, next case.
Number 3,
This is State versus Mary Duncantel, accused of driving hit and run, failure of the driver to return to the scene of the accident. This was apparently on June 9th, 2025. The 2 other charges are improper backing and no valid insurance. Case number 25 CR 3626Y. Ms. Duncantel, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Hoda Atay. And with regards, this is her 3rd arrest. Other priors appear to be from 2009 and 1997, which are not going to be held against her. Okay, Miss Harrison, yes, what's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. On June 29th, officers responded to a vehicle collision with two vehicle collision on Matheson PI Southwest in its intersection with Martin Luther King Drive. At the time the collision, the Acura involved in the collision was being operated by the defendant, and the Mazda was being operated by the victim, Ms. Crossley. The incident was recorded on Ms. Crossley's dash cam. She was driving on Matheson PI, approaching a stop sign at the intersection, and the Acura that the defendant was driving was stopped already in front of her car at the stop sign. When the victim's car comes to a stop, the reverse lights on the Acura come on, and the Acura backs up without warning and collides with the front end of the Mazda, causing damage to the vehicle. At that point, the defendant puts the vehicle in park, exits the vehicle, and approaches the driver of the Mazda, has a conversation with her, and tells her she doesn't have insurance and does not want the police called. And then Ms. Crossley tells her that a report needs to be made, to which the defendant responded, "Then send them to my address. They're going to have to come and get me." And she got back in the driver's seat of the car and left the scene. She did not at any point give her information to the victim, Ms. Crossley, for insurance or registration purposes, and police noticed on the scene that there was no valid insurance filed with the state of Georgia. And then they matched her ID with her driver's license. The state's recommendation, Your Honor, is a $3,000 surety bond. This is the same as the preset bonds. It's $1,000 for each offense. No driving without any valid insurance, license, or registration. And that'll be all for the state, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Hoda, it's going to be a 4,500 signature bond through pretrial services. She is not allowed to drive unless she has a valid driver's license. She has valid and current insurance, and the registration of the vehicle is current. She's also to make sure that she updates the court with all her current residential addresses. Her next court date will be sent to her current address. Count 1 is going to be 1,500. Count 2 is going to be 1,000. Count 3 is going to be 1,000. Is that 1, 2, 3? Oh, that's 3,500. Sorry, 3,500 surety.
Your Honor,
Signature bond.
Pre-trial. Level 1,
Signature
right?
bond through pre-trial, level 1. Sorry.
Okay.
Your Honor, can the bond be through the jail?
No. I want to make sure that she's not driving until she has insurance and a valid driver's license. All right, courtroom 2, please unmute. Ms. Duncatel, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you.
Okay. Only thing I want to say is,
Ms.
mail.
Duncantel, you do not need to speak or say anything right now. You have a signature bond through pretrial services.
okay,
All right, case is reset to the next court date. Thank you.
come on,
For
Scott.
the notice.
Number 12, Mr. Scott.
Yeah, two Scots.
James Scott is accused of criminal trespass causing damage to property, simple battery from May 3rd of last year, 2024, case number 25 CR 3637B. Mr. Scott, you've been advised of your rights and your attorney is going to be Ms. Patton. And with regards to
28.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Wanted out of Gwinnett and Clayton County. 2021 simple battery DV conviction. 2015 14 2012 probation. 2010 ag assault DV conviction.
And when was that last? Oh, 2021. Okay. And that was simple battery DV, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Patton, I'm sorry, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor. In addition to that, Your Honor, there's a total of 28 cycles inclusive of battery convictions on his GCIC as well.
Mhm.
In this particular case, on May 3rd, 2024, at 491 Bolton Road, Northwest in Atlanta, Georgia, the suspect, Mr. James Scott, struck the victim, whose name is Stratman Marsh, in the face and the chest with an open hand. Mr. Scott then proceeded to throw a log at the victim's vehicle, busting the windshield. And so there will be restitution in this particular case. Given the defendant's criminal history, what was recited by pretrial services and the fact that he's had 28 run-ins with law enforcement, several of them being convictions, we're asking for a global of $6,000 surety bond, $3,000 on the simple battery, and $3,000 on the criminal damage to property, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Patton?
Your Honor, Mr. Scott is an Atlanta native. He attended Magnier High School, and also DeKalb Tech for 4 years. He is an electrician by trade. At this time, however, he's experiencing a lot of physical issues. He's blind in one eye. He had a heart attack recently. He just had a stent in a couple weeks ago. And so he's having complications from that. He just started getting medication last night through the jail. So we're going to ask that he be released on a signature bond through pretrial services so that he can attend to himself and recover from his recent surgeries.
Okay. On count 1, it's going to be $1,000 surety. On count 2 is a $500 surety. His total bond is going to be $1,500. This is a surety bond. Next court date is July 10th. No contact with Stratman Marsh. Stay away from the 491 Bolton Road in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and firearms. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's unmute courtroom 2. Mr. Scott, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. If you choose to waive your right to remain silent, you would do that to your own detriment.
Mr. Scott, if you need to speak with me, there is a phone in courtroom 2, but again, whatever you say is going to be held against you.
Signature bond?
You don't qualify for one, sir. You have very significant criminal record history, including a recent battery conviction. Thank you.
Okay, my next court date is the 10th. Yes.
It's going to be a $1,500 surety bond, no contact with Stratman Marsh, and stay away from the Bolton Road location.
haven't been over there in over a year.
Understood, sir, but you still have your significant record history, and that's your bond.
I apologize, ma'am, but I can't make bond, and I just had a heart attack, ma'am, and I have a stent in my arm up to my heart.
All right, we do have a medical facility at the jail, and we'll see you on July 10th.
Thank you.
Number 14, Taylor.
Keith Taylor has 4 misdemeanor charges stemming from a June 27, 2025 incident, disorderly conduct, criminal trespass, and 2 counts of willful obstruction of a police officer. Case number 25 CR 3639A. Mr. Taylor, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney will be Ms. Patton. Mr. Taylor is on his 30th arrest cycle with an open probation in Boone County, Indiana, for theft in the 2nd degree. He also appears to have a probation violation from February 28th, 2022. Let me see. What else? 2019 probation violation, 2018 criminal trespass, 2018 another violation, 2017 arrest for false statements, and a 2016 conviction for theft by taking. Okay, Mr. Rhodes, what's your recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to this particular case, I'm sure Your Honor's probably already read the facts of this one, but this stemmed from incident at 184 Forsyth Street, where officers arrived on the scene and spoke with the Calfani Morgan, who is the security officer of the night shift. Mr. Morgan informed them that a former tenant, Mr. Keith Taylor, was inside Unit 7, but he was not supposed to be there because he was evicted from the property already. Several attempts to remove Mr. Taylor from the property were met with resistance from the officers. He kicked and evaded and ran from them, hid up under a bed, and it took 2 officers to subdue him and actually get him in handcuffs for the 4 charges that Your Honor has already so stated. So what we're asking for is $1,000 on each for a global of $4,000. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Patton, anything else to add?
Your Honor, Mr. Taylor is not going to be able to make that bond, considering his recent HUD McKinney evaluation, which is the reason he was permitted to live in that facility. So we'll just ask for a reduced bond. I think $1,000 bond is what they're taking now. So if we could get a lower bond so that he'd have a greater chance of making that bond, that's what we'd ask for.
With the understanding that he's required to stay away from that location.
Yes,
He
Your
can't
Honor.
return to that location at all.
Mr. Taylor, do you understand that you are to stay away from that location? I understand, based on our discussion earlier about where you believe you are in your civil process with this project building. However, right now she's willing to she is going to make her ruling on the bond, but you are to stay away from this location. Do you understand that?
I haven't been evicted from this place yet.
I understand. That's not the question. The question is, do you understand that you need to stay away from it at this time?
I'm not understanding why I have to stay away from my residence when when that officer gave false information. I'm in the process of being evicted, and I have not been served by the marshals to stay away from my place where I have a lease that's valid, and I'm still legally, rightfully to be in that unit because that's where I just recently received keys from the property manager.
Well, Mr. Taylor, we can have that discussion offline, but in this moment, the judge is asking that you stay away from that property. Do you understand that?
I understand what the judge is
Okay.
asking, but what I'm trying to understand is if I have a residence, how is what a security officer alleging when I am
Mr. Taylor, I'm not here to answer your legal questions. I'm here to tell you that I don't care what's happening in the civil case. I don't care what's happening in the landlord-tenant case. I don't care what's happening in the eviction case. You presently have a criminal case against you. There is probable cause and there are warrants issued against you. As a condition of bond, you're required to stay 200 yards away from 184 Forsyth Street and the entire location. You're
Okay.
also not allowed to contact or discuss your case with any of the staff that are employed at that location. And if you don't want to comply with that, you need to let me know right now.
I'll comply if that's the case.
On disorderly conduct is going to be $750. On the criminal trespass is $750. This is going to be a $1,500 surety bond. On the willful obstruction, that's going to be $1,000 each, and that's going to be a signature bond through the jail. He's got a total of 3,500 split bond. As I said, he needs to stay 200 yards away from 184 Forsyth Street in Atlanta, Georgia, not only the Unit 7, but the entire apartment complex. He's also not to have any contact with the staff, including Calfani, was it Majors? I'm sorry, Mr. Rhodes?
That is correct, Your Honor, and that is spelled Khalfani Morgan.
Morgan, excuse me, Calfani Morgan. With any of the staff, including Calfani Morgan, at that apartment complex. If you are seen anywhere near that property, if you step into the property or you try to engage with any of the staff at the property, you will be immediately arrested, brought back to jail, and your bond will be revoked. You can challenge your landlord-tenant case from a separate location, but not from Forsyth Street. Understood?
Yes, I understand.
Thank you.
How much is my bond again?
It's going to be a total of 3,500 split bond. 2,000 is through the jail, and 1,500 would be through a bonding company or out of your own pocket.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Position number 9, Mr. Pierce.
9, okay. Cornell Pierce is accused of theft by taking and willful obstruction from June 26th of this year under accusation 25 CR 36328. Mr. Pierce, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Atay. And with regards to Mr. Pierce, this is his 13th arrest cycle, 2025 criminal trespass, 2024 criminal trespass conviction, a 2002 kidnapping conviction, and he's got an open pretrial case, 25 CR 0000325A. And I'm assuming because of this new arrest, his signature bond through pretrial is being surrendered.
It's 5,000. Yes.
5,000, okay. Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor. Very, very briefly, as it relates to this particular recommendation, this was at an Amoco gas station at 1270 Cleveland Avenue. The allegation was that he was previously told not to come on that property, given a criminal trespass warning. He, in fact, came. The owner did try to get him off the property. Officers then came, and they had a hard time getting him off the property, which resulted in some obstruction charges, leading leading to his arrest, Your Honor. And I believe that what was stolen was a 12-pack of soda. So what we're asking, Your Honor, is for a surety bond in the 500 on the theft by shoplifting, and as it relates to the obstruction of officers, a total of 2,000 for a global of 2,500. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Atay?
Your Honor, Mr. Pierce is 49 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He does have an address where he receives mail. It's his mother's home. He is currently residentially challenged. I believe he has been struggling with housing for several years now. He already has the $5,000 pretrial bond that's been surrendered. So I would ask that these charges, for the lowest bond possible on these charges.
Okay. On the theft by taking, that's going to be $25 cash only. On the willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, that's going to be $25 cash only. And this is a $50 cash bond, reset to July 10th. And we will reset both cases, 25 CR 0000325A to the SAP calendar to stay away from the Amoco gas station in question and have no contact with the employees at that location. Thank you. Courtroom 2, please unmute. We can go on to the next case.
Petition number 1,
Scott Bukolski is accused of theft by shoplifting from March 14th of this year. His case number is 25 CR 3625Y. This is Mr. Bukolski's 16th arrest cycle. He's had a 2023 criminal trespass dismissed, a 2016 theft by receiving stolen property, and a 2003 burglary conviction. Ms. Harrison, any recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is $1,000 surety bond and stay away from the public store located at 6615 Roswell Road, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. This incident occurred on March 14th. Officers responded to the incident location from a complainant from the store manager stating that the defendant had been observed shoplifting in the store earlier that day. The total of the items taken by the defendant was $69.79. And officers did observe surveillance footage at the scene, and the defendant could be seen taking grocery items such as a sandwich, juice, dog food, and I believe, things like that. And that'll be all for the state, Your Honor.
Mr. Tate?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 49 years old. He has lived in Georgia since 1998. He has a good mailing address. He's lived at that address since 2004. He does have 2 children who live with him. One is a minor, 12 years old. He works as a cleaner and states that he was working with animal control, helping them with animals that they had I guess, taken in when he was arrested on this warrant. Your Honor, I would ask for a signature bond through the jail or through pretrial services in this case, Your Honor.
So he have an address in Forsyth, Georgia, but this occurred in Sandy Springs. So does he has a new address anywhere close to that, Sandy Springs?
No, Your Honor, he's lived at that address in Forsyth since 2004.
Okay.
It's a theft by shoplifting, Your Honor. That was a Publix.
Okay. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1, to stay away from the Publix grocery store at 6615 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. No illegal drugs, alcohol, and weapons. Mr. Bogolsky, you're to report to pretrial once a month. If you get arrested again, or if you fail to report, or you fail to come to court when summoned, your signature bond will be revoked. Thank you.
petition 4,
Cameron Goff is accused of driving under the influence of marijuana and controlled substances, giving false information to an officer, and failure to have the appropriate tag light. This is from June 27th of this year, case 25 CR 3627G. Mr. Goff, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Miss Patton. Mr. Goff, Mr. Howard, any priors?
He got all driving related charges. Out of Mississippi, I got a no license, fleeing vehicle, resisting arrest, contempt of court, and another fleeing, obstructing arrest, false information. And he's a resident of Wiggins, Mississippi.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor. Officers conducted a traffic stop on Old Dogwood Road and Holcomb Bridge Road when they observed that the vehicle the defendant was driving did not have an illuminated light to light up the license plate, so his license plate was not visible to them. They conducted a traffic stop and made contact with the driver. They explained the reason for the stop, asked for the driver's license of the driver, and the defendant stated he did not have a physical driver's license in his possession, but he identified himself as David Brown with the date of birth of 11/9/1999. Officers did inform the defendant that they smelled the odor of marijuana coming from his car. And he stated that he did not have any marijuana in his possession, but he had smoked a blunt prior to driving from Buckhead. Officers explained that they were going to search his car based on the smell and his statement, and they observed indicators of impairment, so they also requested to do a field sobriety test to which the defendant consented. Once that was completed, officers conducted a search of the car and they found a social security card in the car with the name Cameron Goff. They asked the defendant who Cameron Goff was, and he stated it was his brother. They reviewed it a little bit more and noticed that the license plate photo that pulled up on their MS search for David Brown and the defendant's face was actually quite different in the bone structure of the face. So they asked the defendant a couple more times what his name was, and he maintained that his name was David Brown. They actually ended up taking a picture of him and uploading it into facial recognition software, and that's when they were able to positively ID him as Cameron Goff. And he was then placed under arrest. He did inform officers that he told them the fake name because he was scared. The state's recommendation, Your Honor, in this case is in line with the preset bonds. That would be a $10,000 surety bond for the driving under influence of marijuana. For false info to law enforcement, it would be a $1,000 surety bond, and we're requesting a signature bond on the tag light charge, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. So that's a $11,000 surety and a signature bond on the tag. That'll be all for the state.
Ms. Patton?
Your Honor, Mr. Goff is 20 years old. He currently does live in Buckhead, so he is a resident of Atlanta. He's been there since February of 2025. He currently is working. He works at Roots LLC. It's a landscaping company. He's been working there since October. And his father is also here, so he does have significant ties to the community. Mr. Goff is not going to be able to afford an $11,000 surety bond, Your Honor. So we're going to ask for either a signature bond through pretrial services level 2 or a lower bond, one that's reduced significantly so that he has a chance of making that bond, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm sorry, you said his father is here, meaning he lives in Atlanta?
His father is an Atlanta native. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. On the DUI under the influence of marijuana, that's going to be a $3,000 surety bond. On the giving false information to a law enforcement officer, that's going to be a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial level 2. And on the tag light requirement, that's going to be a $500 signature bond through pretrial services level 2. So his total bond is going to be a $5,000 split bond. Once he posts the $3,000 portion, then he will be on a pretrial bond for the remainder, and he'll report to pretrial services twice a month. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms, and he'll be subject to random screens for alcohol and or illegal drugs. By the way, marijuana is still an illegal drug, not legal in Georgia, so no more smoking blunts. And no driving unless he's driving for 3 specific purposes: for work, if there's a medical emergency, or he wants to go to church. Oh, I'm sorry, not church, court. So, and he can only drive if his license is valid. No driving if your license is invalid. Your and I'm sorry, did you say he moved to Georgia, Ms. Pat? All right. So he'll be required to amend his license to a Georgia license if it's still a Mississippi license. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's per judge.
Yeah, and this is further notice to July 10th.
Number 5, Mr. Hoffman.
Victor Huffman is accused of simple battery family violence from June 26th of this year. Accusation is 25 CR 3628C. Mr. Huffman, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. Atay. Mr. Huffman has a relatively seventh arrest cycle with prior incidents from 2006 and 1994 not considered. Ms. Harrison, anything to add?
To the criminal history, Judge?
No, to the bond recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on 6/26 at 2824 Kingston Point. Officers met with Ms. Gayla Huffman, who stated she was in the living room speaking to Betty Huffman, and she was speaking about the defendant. He heard them from downstairs and came upstairs and approached her and subsequently knocked something from her hands and he knocked something from her hands. When officers arrived on the scene, they spoke with Miss Morris, who was in the room, and she stated that she saw the defendant, Mr. Huffman, get into Mrs. Huffman's face and slap her across the face and tell her to do something. But Miss Huffman did inform officers that Mr. Huffman slapped a drink out of her hand. And then they spoke with Miss B. Huffman on the scene, who stated that she saw the defendant slap a drink out of Miss Huffman's hand. We did speak to the victim today, Your Honor. She stated that her and the defendant are married. She stated that everything is fine. She feels like this was blown out of proportion. She does not fear her husband. She is okay with no further violent contact and would like for him to return to the home. The state's recommendation is $1,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with Ms. Huffman, completion of an anger awareness course, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And we'll sound for Ms. Huffman at this time.
Gayla Huffman, if you're on Zoom, I don't see anyone here except courthouse staff. So I have a Samantha S, but I don't think she's related to this case. Miss Atay, on this bond is going to be a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial services, level 1, 2 anger awareness classes, no violent contact with Gayla Huffman, and he can return to Kingston Terrace, East Point, if his wife lets him back home. Otherwise, he'll need to find another place to crash. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Number 7, Jackson.
This is Dante Markel Jackson, accused of criminal trespass and obstruction of an officer from June 27th of this year. And the case number is 25 CR 3630G. Mr. Jackson has been advised of his rights. His attorney is Ms. Atay. And it looks like this is his 19th arrest cycle with an open case in South Fulton for criminal trespass from December 24th of 2024. Looks like he's got a 2024 probation violation, a 2024 FTA, a 23 violation of a family violence order, which was a conviction, a 2022 conviction for disorderly conduct. Any comments, Ms. Harrison?
No comments to the defendant's criminal history, Your Honor. The state's recommendation here is a $2,000 surety bond, which is in line with the preset bond. Stay away from the incident location, no contact with any staff or resident of the incident location, which is a Midtown Village Apartments, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. This incident occurred on June 27th. Officers were dispatched to the criminal trespass call at 140 Pine Street, which again is Midtown Village Apartments. When they arrived, they met with the manager, who pointed out the defendant, who was at the back of the property on top of a large lead near the end of the rear parking lot. The only way to reach the ledge is to enter onto the property, and the manager stated that the defendant tried to gain entry into Unit 236 before he had went on the ledge. Officers again confirmed that the defendant had been previously criminal trespassed from this location. They attempted to approach him and walk on the ledge behind him, and he attempted to keep walking away from officers and subsequently resisted arrest when they tried to subdue him. They actually had to do a pit maneuver and put him on the ground to actually place him into handcuffs. And yeah, as I stated, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Tate?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 35 years old. He has lived in Georgia since the fifth grade. He is a high school graduate and he attended some college. He is residentially challenged at the moment and tells me he was there visiting a friend who I guess is in the hospital right now. So I know that he is not working at the moment. He does not have a phone, but he does have a good mailing address, Your Honor. So I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services, even if it's at level 4. Again, any bond is like no bond at all for him.
All right. Unfortunately, he's got a 2024 FTA, which disqualifies him from a signature bond. For the criminal trespass, that's going to be 750, and the obstruction is going to be 750. The total bond is 1,500, and it's a surety bond. Stay 200 yards away from the entire Midtown Village apartment complex at 140 Pine Street, and no contact with any of the staff or employees of that location. If he wants to visit the friend, he can either go to the hospital or the friend can come visit him, but not the other way around. Thank you. No illegal drugs, alcohol, and weapons. Next court date is July 10th.
Position number 10.
State versus Zion Amir Rollins. Mr. Rollins has got a simple battery family violence. Hang on, let me count this. 1, 2, 3. 3 counts of simple battery family violence and 2 counts of battery family violence. That's a total of 5 misdemeanor charges stemming from a June 27, 2025 incident. Case number is 25 CR 3633A, and this appears to be Mr. Rollins' first arrest. Any any recommendations, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to this particular case, my records show that this is in fact his first arrest. Miss Madison Jarvis, who's the victim in this case, stated that after having an argument with Mr. Rollins, he proceeded to abuse her. He punched her in her face, stumped her while she was on the floor, as well as threw a box fan at her. She also stated that he bit her on the arm, leaving a bite mark on the right forearm that officers were able to resolve. Ms. Jarvis also stated that he punched her several times in the face. When officers went on scene, they were able to see the bruising about Ms. Jarvis's face, arms, legs, chest, injury all around. And so, understanding that this is in fact his first arrest, the extent of the injury to Ms. Madison gives the state some cause for pause. So as such, we're asking for a global bond of $7,000, $1,000 each on each one of those particular charges. We're asking that he stay away from 226 Peachtree Street, Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's to have no further contact with Ms. Madison Jarvis. And the state's recommendation is purely based on the injuries in this case, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Miss Patton?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Rollins is 20 years old. He currently lives primarily with his parents. Although he is a student at Georgia State, he's a business management major. He's currently a junior. He's willing to have no further contact with the alleged victim. So a stay away order would be just fine. And we're just asking, as a student, he's unemployed, so he's not going to be able to make any bond. So, Your Honor, we're just going to ask that he get a signature bond. so that he can go about with his life.
And I'm so sorry, Mr. Rhodes, that was 226 Peachtree Street?
That is correct, Your Honor. 226 Peachtree Street Southwest.
And the incident occurred at 120 Cortland?
Let me
112 Cortland, excuse me.
112 Cortland. For some reason, I had 226. So if it was 112 Cortland, Your Honor, then that would be the address that we asked for him to stay away from. But I'm double checking that right now, Your Honor. Sure, you already got the warrant up, but I just
Well, yeah. So
yes, Your Honor, I am showing the incident. Yeah, I'm showing the incident location to be 112 Cortland.
but the alleged victim has a Newnan, Georgia address. And Zion Rollins appears to have an Austell, Georgia address. So
Yeah, I'm showing Zion Rollins, Victor Madison Jarvis to be at 15 Lake Street, apartment A in Newnan, Georgia. And we have had contact with her, our victim advocates. So I'm going to ask Ms. Beverly Andrews if we've been able to confirm her address.
okay.
Ms. Andrews, were we able to confirm her address when we spoke with her earlier?
No, she did not confirm her address with me. Yeah, she did not really say much.
Okay. But the victim's name is Madison Jarvis.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. And Miss Patton, you said he's living with his parents. Would that be in Austell, Georgia?
Yes, Your Honor, that is at Austell, Georgia address.
Okay. And does he share any children with Miss Jarvis?
No, they don't share children.
Okay. On each count of simple battery, that's going to be 1,500. So that will be a total of 4,500. On each count of battery family violence, that's going to be 2,000. So that will be an additional 4,000. This is going to be a 8,500 signature bond through pretrial services. And this is going to be level 2. Mr. Rollins, you don't have to pay for your bond today, but you will have to comply with the conditions of this bond. Failure to comply will result in your signature bond being revoked. And the next time you come back to jail, make sure you bring $8,500 with you. But in the meantime, you're to have no further contact with Madison Jarvis. Is she a classmate of yours at Georgia State University?
No,
Are you certain?
she's not.
You're not certain or you're sure?
She's not.
Repeat?
She's not.
She's not a classmate. Okay. So then you are required to stay 200 yards away. That's the length of 2 football fields. You're required to stay that distance away from Miss Jarvis and her immediate family members. You're not to communicate with her in any way, form, or manner, including phone, mail, email, third parties, in person, or even on social media. If you engage in any form of communication with her and the authorities get wind of it, that would be grounds to revoke your bond. You're also to stay 200 yards away from her residence, from her place of employment, or wherever she's physically located. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Within 30 days of being released on bond, you will make sure that you enroll in what we call a domestic violence intervention program. This is a series of 26 classes, and you will attend and complete those classes at your expense without missing or skipping any of them. You will report and submit your certificate of completion to pretrial within 7 months from today. Okay, no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. Thank you. And this is level 2.
Judge, there was a stay away. You did say stay away, correct?
I said say stay away, but right now I can only say 226 Peachtree Street, because that's the only address I have.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Come on. Come on. Number 13, Stevenson.
Okay. Is ACDC going to be joining us later?
Looks like she's already logged on.
Oh, okay. Oh, there she is. Okay, thank you. John Stevenson is accused of simple battery from June 27th of this year under accusation 25 CR 3638H. Mr. Stevenson, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Miss Patton. And this is Mr. Stevenson's 15th arrest cycle. He's on probation DeKalb for burglary, first degree. And he's got a I don't know whether Mr. Howard, is this a DeKalb County case number 25 CR?
Correct.
It is, yeah, okay. And then he's got a 2024 FTA, 2023 fair evasion and criminal trespass conviction, and a 2017 battery family violence. Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor, as it relates to Mr. Stevenson, that probation in DeKalb County doesn't end until 2030. On June 27, 2025, Officer Suk was dispatched to 3004 Piedmont Road about a physical altercation between an individual and a store clerk. Upon arrival, Officer Suk spoke with Yafayette Tesfamariam, and that's spelled Tesfamariam, as in Mary, who is the store clerk, who advised that the accused, John Stevenson, who he was familiar with, had been warned on a criminal trespass to not be on the premises. He asked Mr. Stevenson to leave on this particular day and proceeded to escort Mr. Stevenson out the store. And Mr. Stevenson slapped Mr. Tasfamariam in the face a total of 4 times. Officer Holloman was assisting and actually observed Mr. Stevenson slapping Mr. Tasfamariam in the face. As such, Your Honor, and given the criminal history that Your Honor so eloquently laid out, we're asking for a $3,000 good bond in this particular case. It's currently on probation and into 2030, and that he stay away from the 3004 Piedmont Road, Atlanta, Georgia, and to have no further contact with Yafayette, Y-A-F-I-E-T, Tesfamariam. And of course, I spelled that earlier. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Patton?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Stevenson, was there at the BP gas station. This was a misunderstanding. We saved the details for Mr. Stevenson to assert with his division attorney to assert the defense, but this was not the way that Mr. Stevenson was under the impression that this went. He currently is living with his roommate. He recently lost his job. He has 2 children. They're 19 and 23. He was working at traffic control. He does not have a reason to go back to either of those, go back to that location. He does not own any weapons. He does not have a reason to have contact with the victim. So we'll just ask that he receive the lowest bond possible in this case so that he has a chance at making that bond.
Bond is set at $1,000 surety. Next court date is July 10th. No contact with a Yafayette, last name beginning with a T, and stay away from the BP gas station at 3004 Piedmont Road in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs and definitely no alcohol. He needs to stay away from alcohol for as long as possible, and no weapons and no firearms. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Come on. Number 15.
This is State versus Khalil Dewan Thrift. Mr. Thrift has got 3 misdemeanor charges stemming from July 14th of last year: willful obstruction of an officer, theft by taking, and theft by receiving stolen property. Case number is 25 CR 3642J. Mr. Thrift has got 15 arrest cycles with a 2017 FTA, 2016 probation violation, and a 2015 FTA. Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to Mr. Thrift, on July 14, 2024, Officers Dales and Officer Sampler Britton initiated a traffic stop for expired tags. Upon approaching the vehicle, both officers smelled the raw odor of marijuana. Mr. Thrift was a passenger in the vehicle who eventually fled the vehicle with handcuffs in tow. The officers were attempting to detain momentarily to investigate the marijuana. And this caused a foot chase to ensue with the officers, and several officers were called to canvass an area, a wooded area in which the defendant fled. And essentially, while canvassing that area, they did recover a firearm. They believed the defendant to have dislodged. While back at the scene, a total of 3 additional firearms were recovered from inside the vehicle. One was up under the driver's seat, who was detained and who did not flee, but the other 2 were on the passenger side and in a bag where Mr. Thrift was actually sitting. Mr. Thrift was not apprehended. However, after 2 hours of searching for him and calling several officers, I believe it was a total of 8 officers called to the scene to canvass, and a dog, Your Honor, a canine, was called to the scene to actually canvass as well. It was discovered that Mr. Thrift had knocked on several doors with the handcuffs on, so those homeowners got terrified and called 911. And Mr. Thrift fled those homes and then later posted on social media showing pictures of the handcuffs he had taken from the officers that were trying to detain him earlier. Your Honor, as you indicated, Mr. Thrift, I counted a total of 15 cycles on his GCIC. And in addition to the 15 cycles on his GCIC, I've already reached out to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office to see if they would take this as an upgrade to a felony, because the theft by receiving stolen property was in fact a firearm. But not only for that reason, but also because of the fact that he has 2 prior felonies that I'll state on the record, for which he is already a convicted felon. And they are 17 SC 151918, which was a theft by receiving stolen firearm from 2017, for which he initially received conditional discharge, but because of probation revocation, he did not successfully complete conditional discharge in that particular case, and he had 2 years revoked in 2020 on that case. In addition to that case, Your Honor, and he's the underlying felony of 20 SC 175545, which was also a theft by receiving stolen firearm. He is a convicted felon in that one as well. The DA's office has answered in the affirmative that they are in fact going to accept these as transfers. But what I did want to do today was address bond so that we wouldn't have any Riverside issues on Monday. So, Your Honor, as it relates to bond, we are asking for $5,000 on the theft by receiving stolen property, the firearm, which is in fact a ipso facto a felony. We are asking for $3,000 on the theft by taking of the officer's handcuffs, and we're asking for $5,000 for the willful obstruction. Like I said, a total of 8 officers had to canvass for a total of 2 hours, and a canine, and I failed to mention, Your Honor, a drone was also utilized in this particular case. So that's a global that we're asking for of 13,000 good bond. We feel like it is appropriate. It does reflect the seriousness of the situation and the fact that the case will eventually be transferred to Superior Court for the felonies that they in fact are. Thank you, Your Honor.
So are you sending a proposed order to transfer it today?
Yes, we've already sent that to the DA's office. They
No.
they did say that they were going to in fact accept it.
Okay. So I just need a proposed order transferring the case to the district attorney's office.
Okay, I'll make sure and get with Deputy Chief Falk to get you the correct form, because I'm assuming there must be a uniform form that she uses.
Okay.
All right.
Ms. Patton?
Your Honor, $13,000 is a very high bond. And I mean, Mr. Thrift is 28 years old. He is a native to Atlanta. He is currently living with his mom and his aunt. You know, he's from the Grove Park area. He attended Best Academy. He's currently working a construction job for Family Enterprise, where his character is, high enough that his boss is willing to assist him through this process. He does have two 6-year-old children, one daughter, one son. So, I mean, and notwithstanding the issues with his probation, I'm not aware of that, but I mean, he has significant enough ties to the community where he will return to handle the case whenever it is transferred. So we're going to ask for a significant reduction in that bond, Your Honor, so that he can make the bond.
Okay. On the willful obstruction, that's going to be 1,000 surety. On the theft by taking, that's going to be 500 surety. And the theft by receiving stolen property, a firearm, which is now going to be a felony charge, that's going to be a $10,000 surety. His total bond is going to be 11,500. It is a surety bond. No firearms. He's not allowed to have firearms on his person, in his home, anywhere near him within reach, and also in any vehicle that he occupies. He needs to stay very far away from firearms. And his next court date will be July 11th, pending his transfer to the Superior Court of Fulton County. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We finished with courtroom 2, Your Honor.
Courtroom 2, I think so. Courtroom 2, have we concluded?
The last person, because of his charge, we normally do that person last.
Okay, I'll be right back with courtroom 2 then. ACDC, yes, good afternoon. My name is Judge Lal. I'm going to be addressing your case. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Who do we have, Miss Deputy Milton?
Position 11, Miss Sanders.
Thank you. This is State versus Dorothy Ann Sanders, accused of battery, family violence, and simple battery, family violence from June 28th of 2023. Ms. Sanders, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Samaya Patton. And with regards to, this is her 13th arrest. It appears that she's had a 2010 controlled substance. Looks like most of her history consisted of drug-related matters. So, Mr. Rhodes, what's your recommendation for Ms. Sanders?
Thank you, Your Honor. As it relates to Ms. Dorothy Sanders. Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to Ms. Sanders' case, it appears that on June 26th of 2025, Officer Jefferson was dispatched to 1311 Cleveland Avenue, apartment 408 in East Point. And this was in reference to a fight call. Upon arrival, they observed an unknown male, later identified as a Mr. Charles Jackson, I believe the husband of Miss Jackson, and he was sitting in the lobby of the 4th floor. It appeared he was scuffled and had been in an altercation. They observed several scratches, bruises on Charles's neck and chest. Jackson confirmed he got into a physical altercation with his wife of 8 years, who is also his caregiver. Jackson stated that he and his wife had lived together at the above-mentioned location for approximately 6 years. He also stated that he was able to get away and lock himself in a room when his wife then went and got a knife and used it to enter the room. Jackson advised that when she entered the room, she began to grab and beat on him, and it left multiple scratches on his chest. Your Honor, given the history of the defendant, Ms. Sanders, and the fact that she was a caregiver in this particular case, I'm going to ask that she stay away from 1311 Cleveland Avenue in East Point, Unit 408, really the whole complex, and to have no further contact with Mr. Charles Jackson at this time. I'm asking for a $5,000 good bond, and that is the state's recommendation, Your Honor.
All right. Is Charles Jackson on the Zoom? This will be the time to unmute and start your video. No? Okay. Ms. Patton?
Yes, Your Honor. We're going to be asking for Ms. Sanders to be released on a signature bond, level 1 through pretrial services. At this time, they don't currently share any children, and she does have somewhere else to go. I will ask that it be no further violent contact. Ms. Sanders does work for Mr. Sanders, his home care company, so she cooks and cleans for him. And she doesn't have any money to make bond. The dispute that they were having was over finances that he was attempting to keep away from her. So she would not have any money that to make this bond. And she has somewhere to go so that she won't have to be at the incident location. So it's
I'm perplexed. I thought they were fighting because he allegedly wrote on the furniture with some kind of Sharpie,
Your Honor,
and that he allegedly refused to give her the mailbox key. Is the warrant wrong? I mean, maybe
I'm the discussion and just to protect the confidentiality, as far as I understand, it was about her attempting to get the mailbox key for access to whatever the card was that would have the money on it from her being paid.
And going back to another point you made, he has his own caregiver company. He has his own, what kind of company is this?
So I don't have a lot of details regarding what the company is, but it's called Mere Care Company. And what she does is she cooks and cleans for him. So
Not anymore. Not anymore. Not based on the warrant. On the criminal, on Miss Sanders, on the battery family violence, it's going to be 3,000, and the simple battery is going to be 1,000. This is a 4,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. No further contact with Charles Jackson. She's to stay away from 1311 Cleveland Avenue, Unit 408 in East Point. She is allowed a one-time visit with a police officer to retrieve her belongings, and that visit cannot be more than 2 hours. Within 30 days, she must update the court with her new residential address. You've indicated she has somewhere else to go. And also within 30 days, she must enroll in a domestic violence intervention program and complete all 26 classes at her expense. She's not to miss or skip any classes. She's to report to pretrial once a month. And if she gets arrested again or violates these conditions, her signature bond will be revoked.
thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes, thank you, Deputy Milton. You have a good weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
Position
All right.
6.
All right. Will the host please stop the live stream?
Yes,
And I need this person, Samantha S, to unmute and start a video.
Your Honor, I think she's actually for a case that is likely a reset case.
Okay. Excuse me. Yes, Miss Samantha, what's your full name?
Samantha Sams.
And who are you interested in addressing?
This is for the case with Chantel Marion, my sister.
Okay.
It's gonna be a medical reset, Your Honor.
Okay. This is position number 8, Chantel Marion. Okay. When was she arrested? Was she just booked in today or yesterday?
She was arrested on, I believe it was Thursday.
Okay. Her case has got, currently they can't bring her to the courtroom due to medical reasons. So we're going to reset her case to Monday.
Okay.
At 2 p.m. You will need to contact the clerk's office to get a different Zoom link, and that would be June 30th.
It will be the same Zoom link, Your Honor.
Same Zoom link. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're free to go. All right, let me check and see. All right, Miss Grace, if we can stop the live stream, please.